All right, good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Yeah, you damn right.
I'm your host, Bo Bounds. The show is powered by Pearl River Resort and the Golden Moon Casino. We'll be there at least twice, if not 3 shows this week. Looking forward to that. We'll be broadcasting from, I know the sports book, but maybe the Rabbit too. I'm not sure. But definitely the sports book. We did a big run at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, as you know, in the clubhouse. But we'll be at the sports book this week as you get geared up for the holidays, the last couple of weeks of the regular season, championship weekend, NFL playoffs, and so on. So, yeah, we'll be there. I know Wednesday and Thursday and possibly Friday, depending on if all the stuff we have to do bleeds into the, I guess, afternoon and evening. So looking forward to that. You know that the SEC Insider Hit on Monday mornings is brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. Bundle your auto and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Competitive rates powered by Farm Bureau Insurance. We'll have a cool announcement with them sooner than later. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Bo Bounds, Jackson Meadows, Straight Funk, whatever you want to call him. Ice cream drinks this time of year. We join you on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Before I'm gonna get into it today. So we're gonna have to unpack all this and where we are and where we're headed. I hate it for Mississippi State fans because you continue to show up at the stadium and you're loud and student section's been amazing, but goodness gracious. So first, out of bounds roll call. All right. The text line, Golden Moon Casino text line, 601-885-3776. 885-3776. I got 3 questions for you. We're going to give away Elijah Craig hats and Volteo hats, and then we'll throw some other stuff in. But they're really good looking. Elijah Craig hats, bourbon, Volteo, super premium tequila, Dak Prescott's tequila. We got a bunch of them. We're going to give away 3 apiece, 3 or 4 apiece. So we'll have 3 or 4 winners. Okay. You can have both hats. That works. All right. Out of bounds roll call. Text line 601-885-3776. Are you listening on 105.9 The Zone or streaming the show? Where are you listening from? Town or city? Where are you listening from? And then what was your one big takeaway? What was your one big takeaway from the weekend?
It ain't bragging if you can back it up.
All right, 601-885-3776. Real quick on the Golden Moon Casino text line, Tyler says Lane will definitely not get an ultimatum. Is MSU keeping Levy just to create the illusion of stability going to actually do more harm than good? That's a great question, Tyler. Yeah. Here's what I'll say. I mean, it does look like he's coming back. He's got to make major changes. Will he be forced to? I don't know. I think it would be simple. You just say you can make them or you're gone. Levy doesn't have any chips. He doesn't have any equity. He's 1-14 in SEC play. And if it wasn't for a 17-point come from behind win at Arkansas against a team that's DOA, then he'd be 0-15 in the SEC. And I can find a couple of buddies, me and Jackson, and 6, 7, 8 other guys can go up there and go, I don't know, 2-13. Okay? A trip over a win or two. Considering how watered down the league is and how many times all of our teams don't play their A game and sometimes even their B game throughout the course of the year. So, so anyway, let me stay with this. I've got a lot of texts, but let me walk you through this. You have an inexperienced head coach who's still learning how to be a good, and I don't know if he will be, but a good offensive coordinator. So that's a problem. You decide to run it back with a quarterback who's, solid at best. Your defensive coordinator would not get hired anywhere in Power 4 as a defensive coordinator. And there are a lot of there's 20 G5 defensive coordinators that are much better. Like that they're their numbers, their red zone efficiency, much better. Much better. Okay? And you're paying him $1 million a year.
That's incredible.
All right. I don't know how much you're making, but you're paying Coleman Hutzler $1 million a year. He had one job, stop Hardy. They gave up 300-plus yards against a true freshman quarterback who can't throw it or run it, and even a 7-year-old in the stadium knew that while he or she's eating popcorn and sipping on Dr. Pepper. Your special teams coach has, never been a special teams coach. And your special teams is and has been a running disaster. So he would not get hired by any other Power 4 program as special teams. All right.
Two of them with key roles.
Right.
They're coordinators.
And your game, we talk about game control and situational football. And you ran 90 plays on offense and you had 345 yards. That's pitiful. Okay. Blake Shapen had on paper he had 17 rushes, but he got sacked 5 times. So technically he had 12.
Yeah. That's
still too many. Okay. So I don't understand that when you got Kamario Taylor,
who can run.
And so there's just all these questions, and you go, why? Why this? Why this? Why this? It's not just one thing. If it was one thing, you could go, hey, Levy is trending in the right direction. And again, he could flush a lot of this frustration if he could somehow pull an upset over Ole Miss, and you know that Ole Miss has more talent, and you know that Ole Miss has a much, 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 much better coaching staff. But he could flush a percentage of that. Now, I think you'd be putting a Band-Aid on it, okay?
For sure.
But it can make it better. But it's probably going to feel like a long time for both schools between now and next Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday at 11 a.m.
Forever.
Right? Because Ole Miss is going through this weird deal where it's the most magical season in the history of the program.
Right.
But Lane won't commit to staying. And he's saying things that are just kind of off the wall and weird. We're going to play some of it here in a minute.
What did Patrick Swayze? He's dirty dancing through all that stuff.
That's a good analogy.
Swayze's just dancing.
He's dirty dancing.
Through every bit of it.
Okay. He's dirty dancing. I was in Oxford Thursday night. And, of course, I was around friends, and they're gung-ho Ole Miss fans, as they should be. Yeah. And, man, the concern and the ticked offness, I guess I really wasn't ready for it because I was hauling you-know-what to get up there and so on.
That boy's mad.
Because we did a show there on Friday. But I get it. He's the best coach in the history of your school.
Yeah.
And you've had some good coaches. Vaught, Bianco, and others. It looks like Beard could roll again, but you've had some good coaches. But he's the best coach in the history of your school. Kiffin, then Vaught, and then it just kind of pick your poison type deal, whether it's Bianco or whatever direction you want to go. I'd have to think Mike's in the top 2 or 3 because he's won the only national championship in a Big 3 sport you've had. So I did get some pushback from that a few months ago. I was just thinking about that. But anyway, so with Levy, if it was just one thing, heck, if it was 2 things, you could say this could be addressed. Last year, you didn't make any changes on the staff. You replaced your offensive line coach, blah, 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 right? Yeah. So the question is, why is Coleman Hutzler still coaching today? And why is Cliff Odom still coaching today? Why? If you're serious about winning and you're serious about giving your donors and fans something that they deserve, that they pay a lot of money. It takes a lot of money to get up in Gulfport and Biloxi and Atlanta and Jackson and Memphis and Nashville and drive to Starkville or Oxford. Mm-hmm. You put kids in the car. That's the one thing people that don't on campus don't understand or live in Starkville or Oxford. But I'm talking about Starkville because it's easy to jump in the car right now and go to Ole Miss because you're winning.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't easy when Matt Luke was there or Houston Nutt's year he went 2-10.
No.
But right now it's easy. When you're winning, it's easy to pack the car and go. Right? And
They're happy.
you know, my question is, do you have any respect for your donors? Alums and fans and students, and your students have crushed it this year.
Man.
I mean, do you? I don't understand. You have Mike McIntyre and Paul Rhodes on the staff. Why hasn't Coleman Hutzler been relieved of his duties?
Simple.
Why hasn't Cliff Odom been? Maybe I missed it.
No.
I would think somebody would have texted me by now.
Miss it. They're there.
But that's unacceptable. So that's just thumbing their nose at you. Well, we just take you for granted. Whatever. It's arrogance. Okay? I mean, disrespectful. You tell me the adjective.
Yeah.
On the text line, 601-885-3776. Rebella says that was the most fun I've ever had at a football game. Ole Miss fan. We got somebody listening from Dallas.
Nice.
One takeaway, unless major changes are made, we are an unserious program. That's accurate.
Yeah.
That's accurate. That is accurate.
Didn't like that.
Real C. Collins says, I'm listening on 105.9 The Zone from the pits of misery. State fans are the most resilient. And it doesn't have to be this way.
No.
It's never been easier to win. Say it out loud with me. It's never been easier to win. The league is absolutely and totally watered down.
Yeah.
Absolutely and totally watered down. Bo, I'm listening from Mendenhall on 105.9 The Zone. I can't remember if a running back ever got 300 yards on Mississippi State. The team started out hot, but really took a downturn as the season went on, and that's on the coaches. Love your show, Bodine, dog. Cool, thank you. I appreciate you listening.
You ain't wrong.
Okay, we've got a high school coach on the text line. High school football coach here. I don't like to criticize coaches because I know how difficult the job is, but watching Levy manage a football game is painful. Is there any way he gets fired if Ole Miss blows out State? That could probably still – I think there could be a slight chance that if Kiffin runs him out of Davis Wade, I think things could – right now, I think the collective
he's back.
Yeah.
He's
Is that he's back.
Yeah. But if they get drilled by 40.
If they get drilled and Kiffin runs it up at Davis Wade, I think as the afternoon and night unfolds, it still may stay, but it could get real dicey and real hot in multiple buildings on campus. Now, here's another question I have. If there wasn't a meeting with Jeff Levy yesterday about where the program is and where the program's going, you're not a serious football program. And I'm talking a very, very candid. I don't care that the AD and the coach are buddies. It doesn't matter to me. I do not care at all. I don't even care what their names are.
Shouldn't.
I don't dislike them.
Nope.
I mean, their names could be Craig Smith, Bo Bounds, Jackson Meta. It doesn't matter to me.
Nope.
But if there wasn't, actually, there should have been multiple meetings. But if there wasn't one yesterday, that should tell you all you need to know. If there wasn't a really, 30 minutes, maybe even bleed into 60 minutes, I don't believe in long meetings. But sometimes you got to hash it out. And this is something that needs to be hashed out.
Hit me with who should have been in that meeting. I think it's top down, though, right? It has to be top down.
Athletic director and head coach.
AD and 8. So just AD, head coach, one-on-one, mano-a-mano. That ain't happening.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been some of the AD's lieutenants, but whatever. I mean,
Last time Mississippi State gave up 300-plus yards rushing.
When was it?
Last year, Arizona State.
Oh,
Because
Scattaboo
went over, yeah.
So Hutzler has two, baby. He's got the title.
My man.
He got it. He had the title last year. He said, I want to go get it again.
That dude's killing it.
Lane Kiffin's trying to win a national title. Coleman Hutzler's winning, giving up 300-plus yards to running backs.
All right, let me show you how
titles.
Done.
All right, so I'm sorry. Did Cam have that, or was it
It had to be
as a team?
Let me look.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to know that. Because Hardy got it by himself.
Like 260, if I remember correctly.
Hardy got it by himself on Saturday.
That's absurd.
Yeah, they sent him back in to get it. And Eli Drinkowitz was laughing on the sideline.
Right.
And Eli Drinkwitz is a good coach. He's not Sean Payton.
No.
Okay.
Well, he didn't have to be. He was facing a 7v7 coach.
Right. So, Kyle J says, I don't understand why Lebby has to get a third year. He won't make any staff changes or hire a special assistant to hire him. Well, you got to hope that he does if he's going to get it. No, he doesn't have to get a third year. When people say you can't hire a coach because there's so many openings, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
There are plenty of good, because all we do is throw around the same coaches possibly moving. Kiffin, Drinkwitz, Summerall, Brom, maybe Sark, Marcus Freeman to the NFL, James Franklin landing to Virginia Tech or somewhere. Y'all know the drill. But there are many, 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 many other good coaches that are going to be the next John Summerall, the next Lane Kiffin, the next Kurt Cignetti, and the next Dabo.
That's how it works.
All right? I mean, that may be a little crazy, but y'all know what I mean. The next Dan Mullen. Mullen won again at UNLV. He's won 8 games in year 1. Barry Odom won 10 games for the first time in the history of the program last year. Dan goes out there, totally flips the roster, and has won again. They had a walk-off, by the way, on Saturday night. Humphreys County Dog says 105.9 The Zone, Louise, Mississippi. State needs significant coaching changes on the defensive side of the football and offense. But yes, you are right, because Lebby's got to have a right-hand game control, game manager guy beside him, too. I don't care where you classify what side of the ball he's on. I don't care. But he can be on offense. He can be on defense, but a guy to help him make decisions. It is a disaster on fourth down. Special teams is a disaster. Who to play at quarterback? That got me so dizzy going back at what was going on? What was the strategy with how you played Chapin, how and when? Again, situational football. And how and when you played Camario.
He's asking us. He has no idea.
Drug Dog says, I'm streaming the show, Bo, from the land of sadness and futility. My takeaway, I didn't drink enough on Saturday night. I had one guy who doesn't drink a lot text me on Saturday night, and he said, I'm pouring a bourbon. This guy probably, drinks 6 bourbons a year.
I mean, it was worthy.
Nashville T, morning, fellas. I'm streaming from Nashville. Man, Lane is really dampening my excitement for this historic season. Went to the game Saturday, electric. But in his post-game presser, he dumps on us by referring to the Citadel crowd. We're about to play some audio. Man, it's tiring. Make a decision. Let's move forward, dude. Hottie, toddy. You should be excited. Not about where Lane's going, but being 10-1. Who do we have here? 105.9 The Zone. I'm listening in Canton, Bo. At work. As a State fan, I'd rather lose with Camario Taylor than win with Blake Shapen. No, you wouldn't. Lebby keeps playing him because they both have the decision-making skills of a 9-year-old. It's been bad. Yeah. And by the way, for the offensive line, and one of those picks that Shapen had, he had 6 seconds. The offensive line's been more than adequate.
Oh, yeah.
Many, 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 many times throughout the year. Now, have they gotten blown up at times? Have they missed assignments? Sure. Has Shapen been decleated? At times, yes. But there have been times Shapen's had all day in the pocket, and there have been times where Booth and Fluff had plenty of space. You don't need a Mack truck. This is football.
Right.
Plenty of space to run. Okay? But there have been times where Shapen's had all day in the pocket. So when people just say, well, it's just the offensive line, they're wrong. It's like saying that you can't afford to win. Of course you can. You got over $15 million in this team.
Yeah.
Do you have the Lane audio that I mentioned? Mm-hmm. All right. So Lane Train was asked what he's been being asked about Ole Miss and the job and the future. Here we go.
Lane read the story from Ross Dellinger this week that he had that sit down with you, and there was a really striking quote there at the end where you talked about picturing yourself being at the elite Blue Bloods, but you sort of changed, and you didn't think it was necessarily a place like Ole Miss, but you've sort of changed your way of thinking, and that maybe this is the last chapter. There's a lot of talk about you for coaching searches right now. Do you anticipate being the head coach at Ole Miss next year?
Yeah, I think the last chapter thing makes me feel like I'm 80 years old, So I don't like being old, so I don't really like that part of the story that makes me feel like I'm on my last chapter. So I love what we're doing here. Today was awesome, and I don't talk about that stuff. And really, to even talk about it right now would be so disrespectful to our players and how well they played today. So, you know, we got a lot of things going here, doing really well, and I love it here. So.
All right. So those were some good things, but he didn't say Keith and I are going to get it done, guys.
No.
In the next day or two or max. Again, the contract doesn't have to be totally reworked.
No, well,
that's not what's happening here. He can operate and go forward with 98%. They're just changing the numbers. It's a bigger number.
Yeah.
And more and I'm assuming Ole Miss is going to run it through their private foundation to give him more than 4 years to skirt the state law. Other than that, and maybe some more playing hours, which I think right now he's got unlimited. So it'll just be unlimited playing hours as far as wherever he wants to go, whether it's Boca Raton or Siberia. I mean, we're not doing that much. You know, he's going to want to guarantee that you're going to spend money, but you've already spent money.
The verbiage is going to say the same.
I've never heard Lane talk about facilities. In fact, the only thing I've heard him talk about facilities is it's not about facilities anymore. It's about buying talent, buying assets. What are assets? Players. You know, your assets are your stock, mutual funds, real estate, your health, your business, your family. For Lane, right? It's players and coaches. He's already got, you're paying Pete Golding, what, $2.5 million?
Yeah. Joe Judge is on the sideline.
Joe Judge is getting well compensated. Your special teams coach is incredible.
Oh, man. What happens to all of them?
I don't know. I don't know. If Lane leaves, I don't know what happens to he's going to take some.
Oh, yeah.
I think Golding stays.
Me too. I think Judge is gone.
I don't know what Joe Judge does because he'll have so many options. Having already won Super Bowls with Belichick in the NFL and things like that.
Oh, he can probably go back up.
Nah, I think he and his wife really love the Southeast. You know,
really?
He wanted the Mississippi State alum. He wanted the Mississippi State job the last 2 times it opened. Cohen was going to hire him, but Matt Rule, Carolina offered Matt Rule the job.
Right, which
then he didn't go to New York.
Right.
And then the New York Football Giants offered Joe Judge.
So that, what I meant by up was he could go to the NFL. Do you think, is that a possibility?
I think he likes the college game.
I do too.
I know that's weird because everybody wants to go to the NFL because college is such a pain in the you-know-what. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're brought to you by Independent Roofing Systems, #1 in the commercial and industrial roofing space. Done right the first time.
Stand by for audio. Got it.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Al Warner.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
All right. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Show is brought to you by the Amazing Steaks, Private Dining Rooms Experience, KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. Jackson, do you like a 14-ounce filet, medium rare, with the side of crab meat or bacon wrapped shrimp?
Sheesh. Do I have to use my hands? Can I use my hands?
No.
Okay.
Fork and knife.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app and the zone1059.com. I am going to break this out. Somebody brought up a good point on, and I think this is the question that's being asked, is how can Levy attract good assistant coaches knowing that year three, if he doesn't get blown out, whatever, 11 days from now, 12, 13 days from now. Not this Friday, but next Friday.
Blowout as in, what are we talking? 20 plus?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Three plus scores.
So if he doesn't get blown out, and for some reason, because big Mississippi State alums are the most passive alums in the SEC. Okay. They are the last ones to get hot and bothered and raise hell. All right. So if that doesn't happen and he comes back and he is told, he's not asked, he has no chips and no equity, right, then he's got to make changes. And that's even if he pulls an upset in the battle for the golden egg. Nothing changes. Now, you're going to be happy that you won a game, whether it's Mississippi State or Ole Miss, but nothing changes on the changing the coach, upgrading the staff front. Nothing changes on one game. That would be caveman dumb. Mm-hmm. All right, so here's the deal. How could he do it? Well, you're right. I don't think you're going to have a bunch of 30, 33, 38, 43-year-olds there's a lot of them that want to come to Starkville to make $500,000 or $600,000 as an assistant coach. If you're not DOA, if it's not your last year to get it, either you get it done or you're gone.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
I mean, you just lifted Brian O'Connor, arguably the best baseball coach in America.
Correct.
Right. So, you've hired Ben Howland, you've hired Mike Leach, you've hired guys like that have been to Final Fours and sitting head coaches Power Four. So I think the model would be the McIntyre Rhodes model.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. You're not going to hit on all of them. You're just not. Because you need to make a change at defensive coordinator. You need to make a change at special teams coordinator. You need David Turner. You're just going to go in and David say, hey, we appreciate it. Yeah. David will retire. Okay. Corey Bell's got to be replaced. And and then on the offensive side of the ball, you need to upgrade too. But I don't know if that'll happen. And then you got to find a guy, one of the 10, well, it doesn't even have to be one of the 10 assistants because Joe Judd, now with the rules, you could have as many guys on the field as you want. So you got to go out and get a guy for $300,000 to $600,000 that's kind of that game control, situational football guy. He doesn't have to be one of the 10 assistants, or he can be. However you want to run the numbers there. Nobody cares as long as you're upgrading the staff. But I think the model, because you're not going to be able to go get like Jacob Peeler. Jacob Peeler's an incredible coach for the Missouri Tigers. He was good at Cal Berkeley. He was good at Ole Miss. He's got a Mississippi State degree. But he's not going to join unless only way Jacob Peeler would is if Drinkwitz goes to Penn State and he doesn't want to go. which wouldn't surprise. Now, you may get lucky on a couple of these hires where you find somebody like that, something like that situation. Okay? There's nothing wrong with the Mike McIntyre, Paul Rhodes model. It's just you're going to be a little heavy on 50, 55 plus year olds, which is fine. But
get a recruiter.
Yeah, I mean, you do need to get some of that, and I think you can work that out. This is not a good recruiting staff either, but I'm probably not going to unpack that right now. I'm not going to go through that. Okay. I mean, I guess the best recruiter on your staff is the offensive line. He's not a good offensive line coach, but he's a good recruiter, which means you can still keep him.
Yeah.
You can put him at tight ends because nobody gives a damn about that. Okay. It's like coaching running backs.
Yeah.
And so you can put him at tight ends coach. And if he's that good, I don't know if he's that good, but I am told on a staff without any war daddies, he's the best recruiter. So I think that would be the model. Like guys like Mike McIntyre and Paul Rhodes who have had some success but been fired, but made money, plus all you have to do is bump Mike McIntyre and Paul Rhodes. You make them both co-DCs. Yeah. One's got to be, you got to sit them down. One's got to be the play caller. You can't have two people calling plays. Huh?
Can one not be special teams? Do they not have that?
I'm sure Paul and or Mike
could
have special teams on their resume somewhere. I'm thinking they do.
Yeah, I would.
In fact, I want to say Mike McIntyre. Was he special teams coach for Cutcliffe in that 2000, 2001, 2002 range? I could be wrong. I know he was like a DB coach, but I'm not sure. A couple of different ways that you can get in touch with the Out of Bounds show. The Golden Moon Casino text line is 601-885-3776. Jackson Meadows had a great time at the Tracy Lawrence concert, and then he ate some amazing food at Mom and M's. We still got the Bet 50 Play 40 on the property of Pearl River Resort. Weather's good. Bet 50 Play 40 on the property of Pearl River Resort. So Bet 50 at the Vegas style sportsbook inside the Golden Moon. Play Dancing Rabbit Golf Club for $40. Text line 601-885-3776. And I know a bunch of y'all have texted me about golf gift certificates. I got to get more. I wish I could give everybody them. Twitter X at Bo Bound. I did give Wes one. Hopefully he'll.
Thank you.
I want you to go out there and take the sticks and have fun. Twitter X at Bo Bounds. And the Michelob Ultra caller line, 601-707-3750. I had a Michelob Ultra at Highball Lanes yesterday. Me, the fam, we went bowling. Ritz-Carlton level bowling.
You want to give some scores, or are you going to let that ride?
I won the first two games.
Nice.
I cannot believe it either. My son was not, Wilkes was not happy about it. Ella Hall was actually cheering for me.
Nice.
And I think Wendy thought it was, I think she was okay with the first one. And then she was like, simmer down when I won the second one.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to let them know.
Right.
You got to let them know.
And,
we're going to start calling you the
of course,
dude.
I was on the Twitter X fighting on the Twitter streets.
Yeah, I mean, how are you doing this?
I mean, I had all the body armor on. I had the elbow pads going.
Are you sore today?
Probably.
You know, I'm not, and I should be. But I've been walking a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe but I'm not.
You need some of them shades, the meta shades, where you can like see your Twitter feed like on your sunglasses.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're pretty dope.
That sounds ridiculous, but awesome.
Dude, there are people, yeah.
I mean, that's absurd.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, my point is I had a Michelob Ultra at the station. I mean, at Highball Lanes. Wendy was like, that. We walked up in between the Capri and the station, and they were cooking pizza. And Wendy was like, that smells so good. I said, that's some of Jackson Meadows' favorite pizza.
It is.
He loves Taste Italian Kitchen. He loves the station.
Back.
And so on. All right, good morning. Welcome in. I just got a text. Steve Robertson's going to join us. Better buckle up and hold on, baby. 8:30, 24 minutes. Hail State Insider, genespage.com. Steve Robertson joining us at 8:30. Tom Luganville at 9:30 on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Congratulations to Ole Miss. Congratulations to Georgia. Congratulations to A&M, Mizzou. It's hard to win. Hella wins over the weekend. Steve Robertson at 8:30. I did not leave. Sorry, I left you there for a minute. I had to go downstairs to Beagle Bagel in Madison and get a couple of pieces of bacon. I've been up forever, and I hadn't had anything to eat. All right? We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I forgot my protein when I was walking out the door today. I think I was looking at special teams coaches around the country, and I got I wasn't focused. You know what I'm saying? Good morning. Welcome in. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. Major changes have to come to the Mississippi State football program. You have to change out defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, defensive line coach. I think he'll retire. And your secondary coach. On offense, you do need a reboot. And then this guy doesn't have to be one of the 10 assistants, so to speak, because the roles are different today. Or he can be. But you need someone that comes in with a lot of experience that can help Lebby with game control and situational football.
So he's going to do Lebby's job for him.
That's fine.
I guess.
I mean, you do a lot for me.
No, I know.
People don't even understand how much you do for this show.
But you don't pay that guy that. I mean, how much you going to?
Well, I think like somebody, you can pay that guy $300,000 to $500,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he can be, I mean, that's what he does. He is the game control, situational football guy. He is there for Lebby. I mean, look, Lebby's got to make hundreds of decisions over the course of 3.5 hours.
No doubt.
Plus, he's play calling, and he ain't going to give that up.
No, that's his deal.
Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, you can argue
for
it, but he's not going to do it. Well, I take that back. If you had a Greg Byrne type AD,
you think
he would be, they would, well, I think they could work it out.
Really?
But you're not asking, evidently they asked, I don't know why, he had no chips or equity last year, but evidently they asked Lebby to make changes. He said no. And I know you switched out the offensive line coach, and who gives a damn? So the deal here is to get going, I've said this, the coaching has become, I can't even put a number on it, guys. 10,000x more important.
Oh, yeah.
In college football and college basketball, because your team is new every year, and like it's the NFL model, guys. It's the NFL. Everybody gets together on July 20th or July 25th, and you've got a new team every year, and you have to have the ability to get your guys up and running in 30 to 35 days with however many, roughly 30 practices before Labor Day. That's it. You have to. I mean, you have to be able to teach and coach and get people going. I mean, are you 11 or that was your 11th game? You're 5-6.
Yeah. Okay.
That was your 11th game, and it looked like me coaching sixth graders in football Saturday night.
11 this year.
I mean, the total salaries of everybody that was on the sideline in Columbia, Missouri for Mississippi State was,
10 plus
12 to 15 million.
Yeah.
Or at least 10 to 12 million, the total salaries.
Sure.
Head coach, 10 assistants, quality control, athletic director, associate ADs.
Trainers.
They're very important. Thank you.
Very.
Physical therapists, trainers, managers. Outrageous. The total number of salaries on the field, and you can say in the press box. What y'all know what I mean, though. Let's not get cute. The total number was well north of 10 million.
Yes. You could have paid like $500,000 to get all
It
that.
looked like me trying to coach high school football just in five. I coached 7-on-7 camp for Jackie Sherrill, so boy, I know a lot.
There we
Don't
go.
I?
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I was
baby.
in grad school.
Yeah.
Okay. My team did make it to the championship.
Nice.
You're a winner.
Thank you.
Well, that's it.
It would be like me trying to coach high school football starting today, getting ready for Friday night. What was going on? And then the decision making, he's overwhelmed.
Yeah, buddy.
It doesn't mean that he can't do it, but he's overwhelmed. You can't be your first time. Look, you can't call the plays and do all the game control and do all the situational football. And then your assistant coaches aren't good enough in this league. Okay? I mean, this is not UT San Antonio, which, hell, they probably have a couple better coaches than what you have on the staff. Okay? So you've got to decide what you're going to do.
So, all right, so the whole, consistency deal on the staff, is it really that? Like, do you really have to have consistency, Continuity.
You would prefer it, but now that every year you have a new roster.
Why does it matter?
It doesn't matter as much reshuffling the deck. You would rather not do it.
Sure.
But it doesn't matter. It's not like it was 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 20 years ago, when you had to flip the roster and you were doing all high school and JUCO recruiting and so on. It's not like that. You're going to go and get 20 to 40 players, most of these teams. Now, Georgia, we've already been through this. Georgia, Ohio State, and Texas don't have to. But the majority of the programs are going to go get 20 to 40 portal guys a year and 20 to 25 high school guys a year. And Jeff can't get blown out.
If he gets thumped.
He 12 days from now.
If he gets thumped, it's going to be bad. Because in that game
now,
early,
if he wins, some people I see the text and I cannot
Lame.
I love all the texts, by the way. Thank you for listening to the show. If he pulls an upset, that doesn't mean that do not pull a Mississippi State. No, you have to upgrade the staff. He doesn't have chips and equity even with the win. That would be 2-14 in the conference. I mean, it'd be a good win over Ole Miss, but no, you have to upgrade the staff and give him an associate head coach who can help him so that he can call plays. That's what he wants to do. So that you can do more game control and situational football.
I think it's the worst case scenario.
I mean,
is a win.
The call to go for it.
Oh. But why?
In your own territory on fourth down? I mean, come on now.
Man.
Guys, I don't know what I'm not an OC. I don't have to be.
No.
I don't even play PlayStation. I mean, I played with Wilkes a few times.
Right.
It's been years. I mean, I played Madden back in 1993.
That's more than what we've seen here.
But what in the hell is going on? And the Mississippi State fan base deserves better. And then up the road, they are on the biggest run in the history of the school.
Right. State.
Oh, yeah. Their school and the history of the state, no question,
yeah.
in football. Yes. Because Lane won 10 last year. He's won 10 this year. Obviously, he'll be heavily favored in the battle for the Golden Egg, and then they're going to have more games after that.
Got a good text in from Bulldog Jones.
Talk to me.
Let's just ask Camario what he wants to do. I'm not opposed to that.
So here's the deal. The Camario thing's great. It's been overplayed.
Always.
He is a small piece of what needs to be fixed.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And you still don't know if he's going to be able to be really good playing from the pot. I mean, I hope he is.
Right.
If he comes back, I mean, obviously you've got people around him that are heavy Mississippi State. And his mom and dad are 20 minutes down the road, and that's playing in your favor.
Yeah, it does.
But you don't know for sure. Is he going to be able to run the ball? Yes. But you don't know if how good or refined he's going to be from the pocket next year. He may be good. He may be adequate. Steve Robertson coming up next on the Out of Bounds Show, brought to you by Independent Roofing Systems, #1 in the commercial and industrial roofing space. Roofing.ms, done right the first time, powered by Independent Roofing Systems. Look at the jobs they've completed. No one else in the market is close. Well, good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. We appreciate you listening. Love you. Thank you. The text line has been a heater this morning. Good Lord. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Your SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by Rick's Pro Truck. 3 locations in the metro area. You know it. RPT Commercial in Pearl, across from Muskelly. Rick's Pro Truck, RPT Flowwood. And don't forget my man Casey out in Gluckstadt, Madison County, Mr. Notre Dame. Rick's Pro Truck, RPT, Madison, Gluckstadt, ricksprotruck.com. You know truck, Jeep accessories, SUV. Okay, lift kits, spray and bed liners, tires and wheels powered by RPT. Trucks live here. ricksprotruck.com. We welcome in Steve Robertson coming off a big road trip, Columbia, Missouri. And this guy's a madman. Genespage.com, 247 Sports. His site is on fire. And good and bad. I mean, good for him. Obviously, the subscribers are ready to win a game. But Steve joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Steve, this can't keep happening. The game control and game management's not good. If they're going to go forward and give Lebby a year 3, he has got to upgrade the staff on defense, possibly offense, and you've got to have an associate head coach that can help him manage the game. Where do you stand on that?
Well, I think all of those things are probably prudent. I mean, you know, when you go back and look, and let's be honest about this. I mean, you had a quarterback at Missouri that was not capable of beating you. And you had to kind of put the game in his lap, and they were unable to do that. And you go out and you spend all this money in the portal to upgrade your talent defensively. And, you know, first half of the year, people were just kind of saying, okay, well, we've kind of got that handled. But for 3 weekends in a row, you know, teams that prioritize the run have pretty much run at will against Mississippi State. And what happened Saturday night felt a lot like last year, where you were just kind of powerless to get off the field. And, you know, you get a couple of turnovers out there, and one of them leads to a first and goal situation at the 2, and you come away with no points. And when you have situations like that you don't navigate successfully, you typically lose ball games. But to give up 300 yards to one running back in one night, that's an absolute embarrassment.
I mean, even one of the defensive players was questioning what the hell they were doing. I mean, even if he goes for 150, you win the game, Steve. Which is still a hell of a night, okay? But
sure it is. And it's like Nick Mitchell was the guy you're talking about in postgame, and you know, it's like Nick's like, well, you know, we're not fitting gaps, we're not doing simple things, guys. It's game 11, okay? It's not Southern Miss, okay? It's not week 1, it's week 11, and it's kind of the question that I asked him is, you got SEC players. You know, and so, you know, what's the situation here? How do you plan to fix this between now and, you know, the battle for the Golden Egg? And the bottom line is, you know, this is what you wanted to avoid. I mean, a lot of people felt like this is a 5-7, 6-16, but you certainly didn't want bowl eligibility hinging on the rivalry game when Ole Miss is trending towards a potential playoff berth. And as of right now, they're absolutely in, you know, and so they've got a lot to play for. And you put yourself in a situation where your back's against the wall and, you know, against a team that can run the football. And so, you know, there's a lot of people that are connected with Mississippi State that are, of course, very concerned about the outcome week from Friday.
Yeah. All right. So, again, what does the model look like for you? Because you've first of all, I think Coleman Hutzler and Cliff Odom should have been relieved of their duties yesterday. And I don't know, you figure it out on special teams, and then McIntyre Rhodes take over the defense and one's the play caller. And actually, I think that's your better chance to try to even come close to, winning the matchup battle between Lane and Trinidad against whoever the defensive coordinator is, because this is a massive mismatch, as you know. I mean, Lane and Joe Judge and Trinidad against Coleman Hutzler, holy hell. So evidently, I mean, do you expect any changes this week, or do you think they're going to continue to roll with the assistants that are currently employed?
Well, I don't expect any personnel changes this week. I mean, now, do they do some things schematically differently or philosophically different? I guess that remains to be seen. But no, I don't think we're going to have a press conference today where they, announce that, certain individuals are no longer part of the program. I don't expect that at all. I think you stay the course the rest of the year and then, evaluate the full product. But I don't know if you need one more game of evidence to feel like that you've got to make some changes defensively. I think that's evident to anybody that's watched football at all the last half of the season, is that, defensively, you're not at all where you should be, and you're certainly not where you hoped you would be and where you felt like you were going to be halfway through the season.
Steve Robertson, genespage.com, his site's on fire, 247 Sports, talking Mississippi State football. They've got one more game left against Ole Miss. It looks like a 10.5-point underdog right now. We'll see where that line goes. It's a Friday 11 a.m. kick in Starkville. My grade for the defensive coordinator and special teams coach is an F. What is yours?
Yeah, I can't argue against that. When you go back and look at these last 3 weeks, I mean, when you look at Georgia, you look at it and say, you know what, those guys are one of the more talented teams in the country. The talent differential is going to favor them, right?
Yes.
I don't think anybody could argue against that. I don't think you feel that way about Missouri. And I think this is a golden opportunity where you had a pedestrian quarterback that's probably going to be really good in time, where you should have made them incredibly one-dimensional, and they used that one-dimensional to run you out of their own stadium. And so it's difficult to stand on the table for anybody on the defensive side of the football right now. And I go back to that entire scenario we're talking about. And I think, if memory serves me correct, they ran 7 or 8 plays inside the 10 and then get nothing out of it because the battery on a field goal falls apart. I mean, you're looking right there, Bo. Number one, you should have scored and taken the lead. I think we can all agree. You got to find a way to get the ball in the end zone on 1st and goal from the 2. You have to. And then you don't, but you still have a chance to make it a 1-point game. You could make it 14-13. You have this early snap, and they return it to the 28-yard line. So we go from a 14-13 game to a 21-10 game in about 35 seconds, right? Those are the kinds of things that lose you football games. And then you end up chasing the game, the rest of the game. So as a result, you're more reliant on the pass, and this offensive line, I think, does not get enough criticism, to be honest with you. And I understand that we've had to play musical chairs at times, but when Albert Reese can't play tackle, this team struggles to run the football, struggles to pass protect in a major way. And you can't be so reliant on one player. That's the thing that just blows my mind, is that if Albert Reese is out, your chances of losing are enhanced so much. And then this past week, you had to kind of move him around. It just seems like we got to find a way to find some cohesion and some chemistry on the offensive line, because what we are seeing on this offensive line is not acceptable. And it's okay to say that. You can love Mississippi State and also point out that there has been some insufficient play with certain personnel groups, and that impacts everything. When I go back to week 1, my cousin Chuck Robertson won a state championship at Taylorsville, and he kind of simplified it probably as succinctly as you can. When I can block you and you can't block me, there's no chance of you beating me. And that's kind of where we are right now with Mississippi State.
All right, you just hit on something. Chasing the game. And this has happened on more than multiple occasions, Steve. So what do you envision? You're close to the program. Do you see some kind of veteran associate head coach? It doesn't have to be McIntyre Rhodes, but it can be. And there's a number of guys. I mean, there's talk that Will Muschamp wants to get back on the field. You pay him $800 to $1.2 million to wear 1 or 2 hats. Okay, any number of guys. There's talent all over the country. How do you see this as far as getting an associate head coach, or it doesn't even have to be one of the 10 assistants, as you know, Steve, today, because you can have 48 guys coaching on the sideline. What do you see as far as a guy that is Lebby's right hand helping with game control and situational football?
Well, I think that's a good step. And that's one of the things that we've talked about. I guess maybe it was off air a couple of weeks ago. I mean, just kind of managing these end-of-game scenarios. There are some times, and I mean this, with as much respect as I possibly can. Sometimes with Lebby, the offensive coordinator side of him kind of exceeds the head coach out of him. What I mean by that is offensive coordinators always want to go for it, right? I mean, they always want to go, 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 go. But sometimes discretion's a better part of valor. Sometimes you got to take the football play. Sometimes you just need to kick the field goal, take what's available, and not try to force the action. And I think that's part of the maturation process of a head coach is, learning when to kind of say, whoa, rather than sick them, and just take what's available in that particular possession. You've got to be able to get points when you can. And sometimes instead of making them stop Mississippi State, we've kind of stopped ourselves. And you swing a pass out to Fluff and he drops it. And, you have the scenario where you throw the pick down the road against Florida in a situation where a potential game-winning field goal seems like it's already a possibility. And so somebody somewhere needs to be in his ear and to kind of help him navigate through all that. And again, you can support Jeff Levy and say there's things that we got to be better.
Sure. I mean, these guys are paid. Zach Selman and Jeff Levy are highly, highly, highly compensated. If they can't take constructive criticism, then they need to go get in another industry or sector. It doesn't mean you dislike them, but good hell. I mean, this is, they're not respecting the Mississippi State students or fan base, Steve. If there's not a sense of urgency, I don't sense one. Do you within the buildings?
Well, it just kind of depends on who you talk to, right? The thing that I would say, where I think this is where the Mississippi State administration needs to sit down maybe today and have some self-reflection, is you've got to ask yourself, what kind of football program do you want? And nobody involved with the 39759 zip code should feel like we've made sufficient progress this year and this is enough. Now, you've got to go win the Egg Bowl. And I think that's got to be everybody's mentality moving forward. That everything that happens between now and close of business Black Friday has got to be about winning that game and earning bowl eligibility. And it's not just about the rivalry game, even that's always a part of it. But a lot can happen by winning that ball game. And so everybody involved from a support standpoint, administrative standpoint, practice, coaching, everything has got to be about winning that game. We can't say, well, okay, we won 2 last year and we're 5-7 this year. That's unacceptable.
No.
That mindset is completely unacceptable. So everybody involved has got to be committing every resource they have to ensure that they win that ball game against Ole Miss in 2 weeks.
Well, and here's what I said. If there wasn't a really tough, candid, difficult conversations yesterday, then this group isn't committed to winning. And shame on them if that is the case, because the fans and students, a lot of them have showed up and raised hell at home. And it's expensive. It is damn expensive to go to games, especially when you got to take 2 or 3 or 4 people. Steve Robertson, genespage.com. His site's rolling 247 Sports. He joins us on the Out of Bounds show and the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. The show is powered by RPT and Rick's Pro Trucks live here. Okay, special teams has been an absolute disaster. I think, I don't know how to coach special teams, but I think I could do a better job. What in the hell is going on with that, Steve? And why are they here 12 games plus 23 games into this group's tenure?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I think Ethan Pulliam has probably saved them from some even harsher criticism, right? I mean, just because of the fact he is so physically gifted. And, he's a guy that can kind of get you out of the hole. But there's some other times that, you go back to that Texas game. It's like, well, why is that punt not put out of bounds? I mean, why do you give the nation's most prolific punt returner in the country the opportunity to beat you? And ultimately, that's what happens. And then, again, we go back, it's week 11, and, we can't get a snap back on what should be a, chip shot field goal. There has to be some accountability with all of that. And especially as we've seen this year, the parity in the league is probably greater than it's been in a long time. So these games are going to be competitive. You can't give away possessions. You can't give away points. And State has done that on the special team side. And so, again, I don't think anybody's immune from criticism at this point. I mean, you simply should already be bowl eligible. And I think that's the thing with a lot of State fans. It's like, man, they saw how closely they played Tennessee, and you feel like, we should have won that game. And that's a different kind of pain, right? It's one thing to get beat by 17. It's another thing to have it all within your reach, have the ball, with under 2 minutes to go and a chance to go win the ball game in your home stadium. And then you kind of replicate that on the road at Florida. And then what happened to Texas? I mean, you're up 17 in the fourth quarter, and you find a way to lose. And it's like, that's a different kind of misery than what happened Saturday night. And I think a lot of Mississippi State folks, including myself, felt like that maybe they had progressed beyond that point, that you wouldn't have like that bad loss like that. I mean, you kind of expect that against Georgia in some respects, but not against Missouri. I'm going to give Eli Drinkwitz his credit, but I mean, they're starting a third-team quarterback, and everybody wakes up this morning feeling miserable about Mississippi State football. And I think some people felt like, you know what, that's a feeling I thought that we had progressed up beyond, and we simply haven't. And so now here we are, with the season kind of hanging in the balance of the rivalry game.
And you're facing a hell of a coaching staff, Steve. I mean,
oh, absolutely. I don't like the matchup. I mean, right? I mean, because we talk about this all the time. Football's about matchups. Now, is this Ole Miss rush defense as good as last year's? No, and nobody would argue that, right? But I think this is probably offensively been Lane Kiffin's best coaching job of his career.
Yes.
When you look at the fact that nobody knew who Trinidad was, right? 6 months ago, right? And now, he's not going to win the Heisman, but there's some people out there that for a while that had some Heisman buzz about him, and nobody even talks about Austin Simmons anymore, right? I mean, it's just if you think about that aspect of it. That he has taken a quarterback. Granted, he was accomplished at his previous stops, but Ole Miss should be in a rebuilding year this year. And here they are, projected to make the playoffs with one game remaining in the regular season. If even the most loyal Mississippi State fan has to kind of tip their cap at the job of what Lane Kiffin and his staff have done this year. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But if you're Mississippi State and Jeff Levy, nothing should incentivize you more than to go win that football game, not just for your own program, but what it does to the trajectory of your program to be able to beat a team of that caliber, to get bowl eligibility, but also to kind of get you some juice heading to the recruiting side of things, because who knows where Lane Kiffin's going to be come January, right? So if you're a Mississippi State guy, you want to beat him on the way out. But, this guy's done a tremendous job this year, and anybody that says otherwise just being disingenuous.
Oh, they're so good. That staff is so buttoned up and so damn good. I mean, what a miss. I mean, Lane Kiffin, Trinidad Chambliss, and Joe Judge and Lacey against Coleman Hutzler. I mean, holy hell. That's like me playing for the Chicago Bulls tonight. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports, talking Mississippi State football. All right, so Steve, let's say they pull the upset. They still have to upgrade the staff and make the changes that you and I have been discussing the last 15 minutes. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, your perception of your program changes within the minds of your fan base by winning that game and earning bowl eligibility. But again, if we go back to the Joe Moorhead era, one thing that Joe said that I've always remembered, and he was absolutely correct in this, absolutely correct. You cannot accept in victory what you would not accept in defeat, right? That absolutely is true. I don't think Joe came up with that, but that's how I think you've got to approach this. Whatever changes that you recognize today are still going to exist, even if you win the Egg Bowl, right? So you can't let the Egg Bowl just say, well, that just kind of washes away a multitude of sins.
Right.
Every year, you should be looking to upgrade your talent on the coaching side and the playing side, no matter what happens in the final game.
All right. Do you believe that he will replace his defensive coordinator and special teams coach and D-line coach and secondary coach?
Well, I'm not sure I'm ready to make that declaration. I do say that there will be some changes on the defensive side of the football, no matter what happens with the Egg Bowl between now and the end of the year. Now, how extensive those prove to be, that kind of remains to be seen. But the reality of this is that nobody with an objective vantage point can look at this and say, you know what, let's run it back with the same group. There's no way. There's no way you can look at that. It can't all be about the players. And that was one of the things that we talked about around this time last year. It wasn't just talent last year. Now, granted, you're insufficient. But when you think about look how well that defense played in the Egg Bowl last year, right? That tells me you're capable of stringing some things together, and you can't just use talent as your excuse, right? And I think that's kind of where we are now is that, when you upgrade the talent and you're getting similar results, you got to look in the mirror. And I think that's kind of where we are right now.
All right, what would you like to see with Blake Shapen and Kamario Taylor in the battle for the Golden Egg? Like,
Yeah, that's really a great question. I knowing what I know about Camario, right? I know we talk about this kind of thing from time to time, right? There's some people that just have it, and it's not just about charisma; it's a will to win, and then you get buy-in from your teammates, right? You get everybody around you plays harder. And the one thing that I'll say, and there's probably some people that won't like me saying this, I just think the team plays harder when Camario's on the field for one reason or another. And it may be because they say, hey, okay, we got our true freshman guy in here. I got to step up my game a little bit. I think everybody plays a little bit harder when he's in there. Now, as you saw Saturday night, he can get sacked behind a patchwork offensive line just as good as Blake Shapen can. But there's one play in particular that stands out to me that I think shows maybe you got to get him more involved because of the deficiencies you have on your offensive line. There was one drive in particular. Camario evades the sack and just kind of fish arms it out there into the flat, right? I mean, doesn't even have a chance to set his feet. He just kind of flips it out there to Booth, who gets 7 yards. Blake Shapen is getting sacked in that situation. And I think that's where a lot of fans look at this and say, okay, yeah, it's not just Blake, right? It's not. Offensive line hadn't played well. But so if the offensive line can't give you what you want, you got to have a guy back there that's going to be able to kind of evade some of those sacks and negative plays. And I think Camario is easily, the best option in those circumstances. Now, if you thought you could block Ole Miss and let Blake Shapen sit back there and play pitch and catch, then that makes good sense to me. But I don't think you're going to be able to do that. I don't think you're going to be able to sit back and play pitch and catch against Ole Miss.
No, you're not. Pete Golding, no. And the problem, Steve, is Lebby gets sped up so much, and then everything falls apart in like 3 seconds on, offense, defense, and special teams. And you know the drill. You know what Parcells said and others. I mean, you are who you are after the first few games. And so, I mean, and like you said, this is 11 games in. Now, I don't know if Jeff has the, if he can set his ego to the side and allow McIntyre and Rhodes and his father-in-law and whoever, I don't care if it's a student walking to class, figure out what to do over the next week and a half. But I tell you that I don't have a lot of time. I got 30 seconds. What if they get blown out?
Oh, if they get blown out, I think there's some people that will spend the holiday somewhere else. I mean, it's just that simple, and that's always a possibility. I mean, especially like if you think this is Lane Kiffin's final Egg Bowl, I mean, he's going to want to leave an exclamation point.
He's tried to blow out since 2020 in Leach. He has tried to blow and somehow hadn't been able to do it and tried to blow Mississippi State out. That was really good stuff, Steve. Hit his website today. Subscribe, genespage.com, 247 Sports. We appreciate it, Steve.
See you, bud.
genespage.com, 247 Sports. Go ahead and get the subscription today. Give it to somebody for their birthday or Christmas. That board is loaded up with content and all kinds of posts. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Lunch today is brought to you by Taste Italian Kitchen. Ooh, vodka rigatoni, or that world-famous homemade meatball appetizer, which is good for lunch, too, with the Caesar salad. Taste Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance. So I'm good on this computer.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Sound Warning.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
Wow. Good morning to you.
WRKS. Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. As we look back at the weekend, brought to you by Eye Care Professionals. Dr. Kurt Jeffries, Eye Care Professionals, 2 locations on Lakeland Drive. If you need cataract surgery, or you may think you need something, you want to go ahead and call today and get a routine eye exam, get a checkup. So from routine eye exams to cataract surgery to LASIK, Eye Care Professionals, Dr. Kirk Jeffries, and the team at Eye Care Professionals, 2 locations on Lakeland Drive. Eye Care Professionals has 2 locations. We take a look back at the weekend. Texas A&M with an unbelievable come-from-behind win. Unbelievable, down 30-3. Scored 21 in the third, 7 in the fourth. South Carolina didn't score 1 point in the second half. And Mike Elko and the Texas A&M Aggies stay undefeated, which is hard to do because they took South Carolina's best shot.
Oh, yeah.
And they survived. Congratulations to Brent Venables in Oklahoma. Huge win.
Big.
Huge win. And they did what they did what they needed to do. Oklahoma's still in it. We'll see. And Bama can't screw up against Auburn. So we'll see how that looks. They got Eastern Illinois to take their frustration out on. Bama does.
Ooh.
And
take the over.
And then they play Auburn. At Auburn. I think I got that right. Yeah, at Auburn.
So we will have
against DJ Durkin. We did have somebody on the Golden Moon Casino text line, 601-885-3776, 601-885-3776. And unnamed texter said, go hire DJ Durkin. Make him an offer before someone else gets him. Fair enough.
I wish.
Fair enough. Hal is on our text line. He said, I told a buddy yesterday that Levy needs to hire a seasoned offensive guy to stand with him on the sidelines because in crucial game moments, his brain turns to mashed potatoes. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. And Hal said, I'm streaming on the app driving to West Point. Takeaway, coaching needs new coordinators at a minimum and need more depth on the O-line and D-lines. Fair enough. Steven says, Bo, it's a sad state of affairs when we were having to talk about getting a chaperone for a multi-million-dollar head coach.
That's where I'm at.
Greg Byrne would have never allowed us to be in this predicament. You are correct. Greg Byrne would not have you in this predicament. Twitter X at Bo Bounds, brought to you by Independent Roofing Systems, #1 in the commercial and industrial roofing space. Twitter X at Bo Bounds, brought to you by Independent Roofing Systems, done right the first time, and #1 in the commercial and industrial roofing space. Some of these texts I can't read.
Yeah.
But Tracy says, as an MSU fan, it blanks me off that we pay for a coach in training.
Yeah.
I like Levy, but frustrated it's end of season 2 before the reality of what he needs to do sets in. That
20 games.
Great point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great point. God. I mean, you have 9,000 people working in the athletic department football building. It's unbelievable. His staff's not good.
No.
His defensive coordinator would not be hired as a defensive coordinator anywhere in Power 4. His special teams coordinator would not be hired anywhere as special teams coordinator in Power 4. I could go on and on.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, is this not a combo deal, though? Is this not an AD head coach combo?
Oh, I think Selman's got a lot to answer for, too.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, especially if he plans on raising ticket prices again.
They already said they are.
Yeah, well, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. I got an invoice in my email.
Come on
Thursday or Friday about 2026
going up
tickets.
So we're going to give you a negative ROI.
They need to be careful. I'll give you an example of two. So I had one friend who buys a bunch of club level seats, and he's got a condo in Orange Beach.
Sure. Yeah.
He called me last spring. He loves Mississippi State. He said, I'm not doing it.
No way.
We're going to go to the beach, hang out. Another one bought in Orange Beach. He said, I'm done with this. And he bought in Orange Beach. So people have nice homes and back patios. We have unbelievable landscape architects here in the metro area. Terry Powell, shout out to T. Powell, the thirsty gringo, and many more, right? We have people have cool patios, cool porches, cool courtyards to listen to music and spend time with their family and friends and watch games, as you should, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So they're teetering on the edge here. They thought they had cancellations this past spring. Y'all know the deal. F around and find out.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. So you're giving them a negative ROI, and then you're jacking the price up.
And they went up this year, too.
That's incredible.
So coming off 2-10, they went up.
And
now they're going to go up again. Now, understand this is happening. This isn't just
everywhere,
Mississippi State.
But
good hell, when you're like competent and winning a few games, you're willing. Look,
right.
Charles Huff, look, they no-showed last weekend, but he's had a hell of a year.
Yeah.
It happens. I mean, Bama no-showed for the last part.
Sure.
But Southern Miss people are excited, as they should be. Okay? And they're hoping he doesn't go to UCLA, and I don't think he is, but I just don't think UCLA's committed. Okay? But
it's a winner.
But
just a winner.
Is there the sense of urgency? And this is a fan base that's nice, but doesn't put enough pressure on the campus and university to get the blank corrected. And you need to do that.
Do you remember a time when they've actually applied pressure and gotten something done?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Baseball just a few months ago.
Other than O'Connor. Yeah, I was thinking about O'Connor definitely is up there, right?
There's a crew from Houston, Texas, among others, that said enough's enough.
Is there another one?
Yeah. Sylvester Croom.
Oh, really?
He got beat 45-0 in the Egg Bowl.
Oh, and they said,
hired
we're
Dan
done
Mullen.
here. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So they've done it.
And Mullen won from the he didn't have the portal. And he won.
Jump.
Wow,
he didn't have the portal.
Okay, here we got an unnamed texter. The problem with Mississippi State, it looks like we're going out right now. Tom Luganbill will join us at 9:30. National college football analyst with ESPN. The problem with Mississippi State right now is that the administration seems unwilling to even consider hiring coaches with any kind of checked past. The pearl clutching has gotten out of control. There's no way the administration would ever allow Levy to bring in someone like DJ Durkin as a defensive coordinator, or even consider someone like Art Briles in any advisory role to help manage the offense. Until the leadership stops worrying about optics more than results, it's hard to see the program making the bold moves it needs. Unnamed texter on the Golden Moon Casino text line. Oh. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. Ole Miss, greatest season in the history of the program. Now, there's a little bit of a flyer there. Or maybe disclaimer. Look, you've still won. You've still partied. You've still had a great time because winning is delicious and fun. And you know, I taught y'all get tired of me talking about it here on ESPN 105.9 The Zone. But you want to bathe in it. You want to shower in it. You want to lather up in it. Roll around in the bed with your significant other in it. All that stuff. Okay? And all you've done is win and win and win and win. And you beat the Florida Gators, a team who could take your coach, which that's the piece here that is wild, is that you have Ole Miss media dog cussing Lane Kiffin. Like, I'm in Oxford Thursday, and there's a lot of excitement, as there should be. I mean, hell, there'll be excitement in Starkville Thursday night. I mean, we're all going up. We're going to eat, have fun. And then Friday morning, people will be excited. Now, which way everything goes on Friday morning, I don't know what 18 to 23-year-olds are going to do, okay? I don't even know what I'm going to do, but I damn sure don't know what my kids are going to do, okay? I hope they do good stuff.
Sure.
But look, does Lane have a great job? Yes. Has he taken the Ole Miss football program and university and raised the profile and elevated the program and elevated people around him? Yeah. He and Keith Carter and so many people, Pete Golding's amazing, good Lord, have done a great job. Among others. I don't know all the people. Now, when I'm with Patrick Kelly at Finch and Kelly, a lot of those people come through. He's so connected, and his friends. And these guys are all Vault Society guys, and they're gung-ho, just like a lot of the Mississippi State guys that I run with.
Right.
But this is wild because Lane is so highly coveted. And he's been so successful at Ole Miss. And they would deed him half the town for him to stay. But it's not, people keep asking me money. It's not about money. Ole Miss is going to offer him a fortune, whatever that is, $15 million a year.
Right. Florida
can offer him that. It's just going to come down to kind of where, I don't know. I don't know if he knows.
Lane.
But one thing I know is he, unless I missed it in the last 2 minutes, he hasn't come out and committed and said, Keith and I are going to get this figured out. I mean, Keith Carter's done everything he's supposed to do.
Yes.
He has been a hell of an athletic director. Aggressive, relentless, hard-charging. I watched Keith Carter live and Tad Smith. I mean, I'd go over and see I don't know how many times I saw Keith play, but he has taken what made him a hell of a college basketball player and taken that into his professional life.
Yeah.
I mean, he is hard-charging, focused, determined, ambitious, all that.
He's got to be the reason you are where you are.
He is a big reason.
Yeah.
So is Lane. But Keith made that hire.
You're right. That's what I'm getting at.
Keith they had kind of, and this happens to many people, many other programs. They had kind of bumped their head a little bit during the search, and then they realized we gotta go get this thing done before Lane goes to Arkansas.
Right.
All right. So it has changed the university, the town, and elevated the football program. Here's the deal. Florida's also a great job. Florida is a massive brand. They have it's a top 10 university in the country. Top 10 research. Their endowment is insane. As one person said to me, they have people lined up to put their names on buildings. It's not like that in Oxford and Starkville. Now, you have very wealthy men and women that have done extraordinarily well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? I mean, Mississippi State has 160,000 living alums. Ole Miss has 120 or whatever. You have plenty of people who have done remarkable things in sectors and industries that are amazing.
No doubt.
I don't know. He's stayed longer than I thought. Okay?
Yeah.
You have benefited and they have benefited. But y'all know this is what I tell you all the time. Lane doesn't owe Ole Miss anything, and Ole Miss doesn't owe him anything. It's been a good part. He's been highly compensated, taken care of, from money to plane hours to everything else. And on this side, Ole Miss has reaped the benefits as a town and a university and an athletic department.
No doubt.
Okay? So it's been a hell of a partnership. If it ends in 2 weeks, it was not a home run, it was a grand slam. Yeah. If he re-ups, they'll burn it down, and they'll probably host a college football playoff game, which will be the biggest game in the history of the state of Mississippi on December 19th or 20th, I think. Now, they may not pull I don't know what's going to shake out the next couple of weeks. It looks good. I don't think they're going to get up in that bye window. With what's played out, in some of the teams hanging on, I don't think it's going to happen. But we may have chaos. We may have mass chaos. I don't know. I don't think the committee wants to penalize people that have had a remarkable season for losing a conference championship game.
No,
I just don't. I don't see that happening.
No,
but they don't look at an easy schedule though as well. Meaning Ole Miss's schedule.
It's just the SEC deal, though.
I mean, the Georgias have played a heck of a schedule.
Hell yeah, they have.
Texas A&M. I mean, yes, they had to come back this weekend, but they've had to play a heck of a schedule as well.
Yeah.
So I don't foresee that the committee seeing a one-loss Ole Miss team should be in that top four.
Right. So anyway, I don't know. It could go either way.
Is a win in the Egg Bowl.
Ole Miss is a really good job. Florida with a Lane Kiffin or Kirby Smart or, Kurt Signetti, any number of guys is a great job. I mean, they've been to 13 SEC championship games or something like that.
Jeez. Okay,
they've been to SEC championship games with McElwain. Hell, Muschamp won 11 games, and he's not really a good head coach, but I think he's a hell of a defensive coordinator, and could be a heck of an associate head coach.
I mean, all right. So, I mean, if you're looking at hires like that, dream hires for state right now, if Lebby's retained,
DJ Durkin, DC, Will Muschamp, DC, but there's 20 G5 DCs that are excellent. I mean, Coleman Hutzler has no business being a southeastern. His name could be Bo Bounds.
Yeah.
This is not. I don't have anything against Coleman Hutzler. He has. If you are serious, and you're not right now. You're not committed, and you're not serious to winning in football. So campus needs to decide if that's what they want to do. You're not a serious football program if you have who you have on staff. You're not serious.
So it's the worst thing.
Ole Miss is serious. Indiana's serious. Missouri's serious. Vanderbilt's serious.
Yeah.
Obviously A&M. There are other schools that are revving up and ramping up. That are, in that vein.
So the worst possible scenario is for state to win the Egg Bowl and them to pull the old state fashion deal and just we're good.
I don't think they're going to be allowed to do it.
All right.
No, I think they're upgrading either way.
Well,
and if they
thought
don't,
that last year,
then they'll get what they deserve. Just the bottom line. I mean, people can find other things to do. What do we have here? All right. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're brought to you by Mills Contracting. That's right. Mills Contracting in Gluckstadt. Assisted living facilities, strip centers, renovating state parks left and right. Call Matt Mills and Mills Contracting in Gluckstadt for your next commercial strip mall or assisted living facility. Tom Luganville coming up next. to Tom. All right, I've got to tee this thing up for Tom Luganbill. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. The show is driven by Fowler GMC. If you're looking for a GMC Sierra truck or GMC Yukon, Fowler GMC Pearl Brandon, FowlerGMC.com, locally owned and operated for 60 years, and one hell of a car dealership. Car, truck, SUV dealership, Pearl Brandon, FowlerGMC.com. So we've got a couple of things going on here. You had a in Columbia, Jeff Levy and his staff did not have a good night. It was a sloppy game. They got sped up. They weren't buttoned up on offense, special teams, or defense. They allowed one guy to go for 300 plus. They were facing a true freshman quarterback that couldn't run it or throw it. Okay, he may be able to at some point, but not right now. All right, at any kind of high level at the SEC Power 4 level. All right, so State fans, we've received several hundred text messages this morning, and they're ticked, and I don't blame them. All right, and there were some poor decisions. We talk about game control, situational football, things like that. Got to get a guy beside you that can do that. On the flip side, Ole Miss is having the best season in the history of their program. And yet we're receiving text where they are irate, more than that. Ticked that Lane hasn't come out and committed to staying. So there's a lot going on in this state. And then not this Friday, but next Friday at 11 a.m. in Starkville, we call it the Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary game, those kickoff times. You got the battle for the golden egg and dogs hosting Rebs. So we welcome in national college football analyst with ESPN, QB1 at Georgia Tech during his playing days. Tom Luganbill joins us on the show. Luce, good morning. It's crazy here. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great, man.
Just another day in the SEC. All right, let's talk about the magical season that's happening at Ole Miss. It's hard to win. You played at a high level. Lane and Goldie and the crew, Joe Judge, whatever, they're 10 and 11 and 1 going into the last game. They're both off this weekend. And everybody's excited. I was there Thursday night, did a show there Friday morning, and they should be. And yet my friends and other people are losing their minds that he will not commit. And he's had every opportunity the last couple of weeks. What's your takeaway on it right now, Tom Luganbill?
Well, they're upset, and I get it. And I know that there's been some talk also about, Ole Miss giving him an ultimatum and essentially saying, hey, we need to know. And you've got signing day right around the corner. Then you go into championship weekend, go almost directly into the playoff, and the transfer portal now, the one-time transfer portal, isn't until January. So, the university has a responsibility to be prepared for that and to be able to come up with a solution so that 5-6 week span there doesn't fall to the wayside. And I get it. I understand that. Lane Kiffin's probably looking to see exactly what the details are and ironing out details if there's a plan in place to make a move and go somewhere else. But from Ole Miss perspective and their fans' perspective, I get it. You're getting a little nervous with signing day coming around, like I said, and then you go into the playoffs, and you can't afford to find yourself in a situation where you're going, okay, well, who would coach this team in the playoff? Is that coach then going to be our permanent head coach? And if not, you'd be looking at coming out of the playoff, however far you were to go, and having to find a new coach, and then right around the bend is the January transfer portal.
Right.
So it's a time crunch right now. I get it.
All right. He's turned into an unbelievable coach. He's either top 5 or top 10 in the country, Lane Kiffin. His coordinator, in my opinion, has got to be one of the top 10 coordinators, defense coordinators in the country. He's got a really good staff, and he's just hitting on all cylinders. They're going to give him – it won't be money. Both of them will offer him around $15 million a year. You know that, Luke's, right? So it's just about what he wants to do.
It's also about, maybe this is the most important thing, it's about control, right? Because the one thing he has at Ole Miss, he controls everything.
True.
He controls the transfer portal. He controls name, image, and likeness. Obviously, he's got a very favorable dispersal of the money from the settlement. And are you willing to give up some of that control? Are you willing to take a job where somebody else could trump how it is you want to divvy up money, or who it is you want to target with that money? And that's an important, I mean, a really important category in all of this. And so I think that's probably why this decision for him, if there is one to be made, is so difficult, because right now he controls all of that.
Yeah. Well, he has all the chips. Okay. You know this in life, Luce. I mean, there's times where we have all the chips, and there's times where we have some, and there's times when we have none, whether it's family, business, whatever's going on. He holds all the aces, both with Ole Miss and Florida. And what's going to be fascinating is if he lets this bleed out all the way past the battle for the Golden Egg. You know what I'm like? I don't know when he's going to say he's going to come back, or he's going to Florida. Is it going to be? I mean, it could be any day now. But if this thing goes all the way through Friday morning, and then the game, and then you got Saturday and Sunday, I mean, you know, the timeline gets, like you said, it gets crunched for both Key Carter and Scott Strickland, doesn't it?
Hey, well, absolutely. But not even so much for Scott Strickland, because you know, they're going to have a 1, 2, and a 3. They've been working on this, right?
Sure.
This puts Ole Miss in a bind. You know, Florida's going to have solutions and answers. And if, let's just say, Lane Kiffin were to leave and take that job, they solidified themselves prior to championship weekend and can go into January from a recruiting perspective and a transfer portal preparation perspective and be in great shape. You know, the challenge in all of this is, how would Ole Miss recover if this thing continues to go for another 10 days or so?
That's a good point. Because, like, you could, depending on how it all shakes out, with John Cohen doing a lot of work and LSU and some others, you know, like, if for some reason he leaves, you could miss out on John Summerall, right? Because you haven't been in the same, you haven't been looking and been locked in 100% on a coaching search for as long. You agree?
No, but you know through back channels, Ole Miss is preparing for this departure.
Fair enough.
They've made overtures. Okay. They've reached out to agents, you know, whether it's John Summerall, whoever it may be.
Right. So he's been in.
They're planning for this.
All right. What do you think about the fact that Layla Kiffin, Lane's ex-wife and mother to his kids, her dad is John Reeves, who was a fantastic player at Florida, and she went to Florida. Does that do anything for you? What do you make of that?
I don't know. I don't know if that plays any type of role. Obviously, we don't know the personal dynamic, but it's very clear just through viewing social media that Lane Kiffin is a very committed father to raising his kids, and whatever he and Layla have chosen to done, they've raised some good young people. And he's, you know, obviously, whether he's in Oxford, Mississippi, or Gainesville, Florida, he's going to be intimately involved in their lives.
Okay.
And I don't know if that would play a big role. I really, to be honest with you, because I believe Lane Kiffin when he says money's not part of the deal here, because he already has generational wealth.
Exactly.
We're not talking about. Okay, let's just take John Summerall. Okay, we're not talking about somebody who could be that's moving up the ranks that would have an opportunity to sign that contract that puts him in a position to create generational wealth. That's already taken place with Lane Kiffin. Now it's about all of the other things. Do you think you can win a championship at Ole Miss versus Florida? Because at the end of the day, you know, it's the one thing that he doesn't have on his resume is he doesn't have an SEC championship game. All right, doesn't have a championship as a head coach. So that you look at that part of it, and that's probably what he's craving right now more than anything else, because the money part of it's not a factor.
And it doesn't look like they'll make the SEC championship game with Georgia beating Texas and A&M surviving against South Carolina. Georgia doesn't even play another SEC team, Luke, as you know.
Right. Oh, I know.
They play, you know, your former team, Georgia. Well, they play Charlotte this weekend, and then Georgia Tech. And look, I know nothing's guaranteed with Georgia because Brent Key and those dudes. But
well, Georgia Tech should have won that game last year.
Well, there's no question. That was one of the best games.
Yeah.
I mean, I kept pouring another beverage thinking, well, this thing's going to end. And then all of a sudden I was like, holy moly, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
I know I ask you this all the time, but I have to keep asking because it's an in-state school. And things change week to week. And you're looking at Ohio State and Georgia. Boy, I was impressed with Georgia, Luke's. Okay. And you look at Georgia, and then Bama, weird. I thought they would win. They didn't. And A&M coming back, and there's some other teams around the country. But do you think Ole Miss has a national championship caliber squad?
Yes, I do. I think that they are a team that could contend for it. Obviously, matchups in terms of who you get paired with does play a role in all of this, right? And so, I think that, put it this way, if you were to look at Tennessee's team last year, okay, and Ole Miss this year, Ole Miss at the quarterback position has a much better chance, in my opinion, than Tennessee did with Nico.
Yeah.
Because this kid has played well against good people. And a year ago, Nico did not have a lot of success against anybody that was any good throughout the entirety of their schedule. I mean, 11 of his passing touchdowns came against Chattanooga, Kent State, I want to say Vandy potentially last year. This guy at Ole Miss has been playing lights out.
Okay. Who do you like the best right now, though? Like, who, if you had to pick a team, you're just having fun with the guys on the back patio around the grill, and your buddies in your neighborhood in Charlotte say tonight, y'all are sipping on some bourbon. They go, Luke's, who you ride, and it could change, but who you riding with right now is the team you like to make it all the way to the end?
To the end? Oh boy. I would probably say Ohio State right now. I just think that defensively where they are, and the fact that we're not giving enough credit to Julian Sand and the job he's done offensively and the growth that he's made, and the fact that he's played within himself, and now he's starting to play at a championship level. I think they're more than equipped because they've got the components up front and they've got great quarterback play. That would probably be the team. The team that you better be careful of, and you just mentioned them, is Georgia. Because the thing about Georgia is, and it wasn't too long ago, where Georgia took the field and they won the game before the ball was even kicked off. That's not necessarily this Georgia team. What this Georgia team is a blue-collar, workman-like mentality with great players. This team has had to fight and scrap and earn their way. They've had to get creative at times. They've had to, that call on the onside kick.
Wow.
The nail in the coffin. I think that Kirby smelled blood in the water and said, you know what, we're going to end this thing right now. And was it a risk? Yes. The way they were playing defense, the fact that Texas couldn't run the ball a lick, I think you take that chance, and it paid off. But I just like the grit that Georgia has. And they seem to be peaking and playing their best football right now. And Gunnar Stockton, and you can criticize Mike Bobo all you want, but Mike Bobo's had that offense ready to play.
Yeah.
And they have really turned the corner.
That was big stones of Kirby. Unbelievable call in that game. Not quite as big as Sean Payton in the Super Bowl, talking about stones, but that was a big boy call. Tom Luganville, national college football analyst with ESPN on the Out of Bounds show, driven by your next GMC Sierra truck at Fowler GMC, Pearl Brandon. Okay. How about A&M? How about A&M showing the mettle and the resolve to be down 30-3? They could have packed it in. They know things could still line up for them. And how about Elko and the team and the staff hanging in there and coming from behind and winning that game, Luke's?
I think what's interesting, and you're right, you try to figure out how in the world did that happen. My first inclination was, did Lenore Sellers and Marcel Reed change uniforms? That was my first thought. And then when I did some investigating, I realized that wasn't it. But I think it's human nature, especially with young people. And you can guard against it, you can talk about it, you can warn it, you can do exactly what I'm sure Shane Beamer did in the locker room. But the human nature will tell you to relax, right? Because you think you've got it, and you are banking on the other team doing exactly what you just said and packing it in. And the fact that A&M didn't do that tells me more about how much Mike Elko has shifted the A&M culture to a team-first mentality than anything else. Because what's been the chief complaint of Texas A&M in the NIL era?
Selfish.
They paid players. They're selfish. They're not there to win. They're there for themselves. They don't understand or have any interest in the team dynamic. And I think that more than anything else was what stood out to me in that game, because they could have folded up their lawn chair and left the beach. They could have just said, all right, well, we're gonna, if we lose, maybe we'll play hard and say, if we lose the game, we lose the game. But the way they came out, I mean, it was like a complete reversal of fortune of execution. And I don't know if I've seen the likes of that in a long, long time. It was impressive. It really was. I think the fact that they did that is going to pay huge dividends with the committee.
I agree. I agree with that. All right, so A&M and Ole Miss on a neutral field, they play 5 times. Who you got and why?
5 and 5. Or 10 times or 5? Oh, geez. I'd probably take, because of the defensive side, not Saturday notwithstanding, but that defense for Texas A&M has been so good, and especially on third down, that they have continually gotten the ball back for their offense on multiple occasions in each game. That has been the difference for them, because they've just been so elite on third down. I think it would be great to see it because, Marcel Reed was committed to Ole Miss. And he was committed to Ole Miss when nobody was really paying attention to him in recruiting. Lane targeted that guy. And what an outlook that would be to see Marcel Reed and Trinidad Chambliss play against one another. I think that is a tough call to make. I think they're both very, very similar. But, man, A&M on defense for the vast majority of the entire season has been elite.
Yeah, okay. All right. Do you think Oregon's capable of – what do you think they're capable of doing?
USC's going to the playoff. And that's something that nobody was talking about 2 to 3 weeks ago. And it's very, very real. See, the playoff scenario in all of this is going to be based off of the Big 12 and the ACC, because if you look at what the committee did last week, Bo, they put Miami at number 15. They put a team that they knew virtually had no shot of making the ACC championship game as the top-rated ACC team. So what that tells me is the committee is saying that if Virginia with 2 losses or less, if Georgia Tech with 2 losses or less are the ACC champs, they're taking 2 ACC teams because they're going to take Miami, or they would not have put them there because they had no shot at making the ACC championship game. Now, what if in the Big 12, BYU and Texas Tech play again in the championship, and BYU beats them?
Ooh.
You're not. It's the scenario that you had last year with SMU. I don't see the committee leaving out Texas Tech. So now, if you're sitting there, and even though the group of 5 crapped the bed this weekend, all right, they're not going to like JMU's schedule. So how will that all materialize? And then what does that do for a Texas or an Alabama if Texas or Alabama were to lose one more? So there's still a lot of complication that is coming in all of this that is relying upon what happens in the Big 12 and the ACC.
Okay. All right. Tom Luganville on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. It's only going to get better the next couple of weeks. The teams that have been either no losses or 1 loss, I don't think the committee's going to ding them for losing a conference championship game either. Too bad, or any Tom Luganville, what do you see?
They've set precedents for that. I agree with you. They said it last year with SMU. And I think they respect the fact that it's a long season.
Right.
You've earned the right to play in a championship game. There are teams out there like Notre Dame that don't have to play in one. And you put yourself out there. You've jeopardized the opportunity by having to play again. There's no way they're doing that.
Speaking of Notre Dame, you may disagree. I don't think they've got enough juice to do what they did last year. However, it looks like they're going to make it. And early in the playoffs, they could ruin somebody's season. Do you see that too?
It all depends on if Notre Dame and Miami have the same record. Now head-to-head matters. Because the Notre Dame and Miami game that was played in the first week of the season, that was not one or two teams that hadn't found themselves yet. That was a really well-played game, competitive top-to-bottom battle. And so what I mean by that is if they both finish 10-2, and let's just say Notre Dame had played poorly, the freshman quarterback didn't play well in that first week, and now fast forward to now, you look at Notre Dame and they are an entirely different team. Now maybe the head-to-head doesn't matter as much, and you give the lean to Notre Dame because you think they're better. But at some point or another, the committee is going to have to acknowledge that head-to-head matters. If everything else is equal, it has to matter, or else why are we playing the games? Mm-hmm. And why would you jeopardize yourself in the future of making a scheduled game like that? Go schedule Ball State.
Right. No, that's a great point.
If it's not going to matter. Yeah, it's not going to matter.
You mentioned Southern Cal and Oregon. It's at Oregon.
Yeah.
10.5 point favorite. You like Oregon to win the game?
I do like Oregon to win the game, but I wouldn't be surprised one bit if FC won that game.
Okay.
I think they're playing pretty decent football right now. They had to win a nail-biter in terrible weather conditions against a team in Iowa that should thrive in those conditions. And FC handled it better. And so I think that's going to be very interesting to see how that whole thing unfolds. But the thing you got to keep an eye on, you go back to this, is keep an eye on Miami. Because when the committee did that last week with really not really any justification for doing it, knowing full well how difficult it would be for Miami to even make the championship game, that sent a signal, in my opinion. And then Virginia went out and ended the Duke conversation last week in dominant fashion. So that scenario has been eliminated as far as the discussion last week of the ACC potentially not having a team in. But you do, as Notre Dame's concerned, and as potentially another SEC team is concerned, what they do with Miami, if there is a 2-loss or less ACC champ, is going to be interesting.
I got 20 seconds. Do you think Lincoln Riley stays at Southern Cal or may look somewhere over in this part of the United States?
If they were to make the college football playoff, I think he would look somewhere else.
Okay. Boom. Thanks, Luganville. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
National college football analyst Tom Luganville on the Out of Bounds Show. Lunch today brought to you by Taste Italian Restaurant in the Renaissance and Taste Italian Restaurant in Starkville, Mississippi. Amazing wood-fired pizzas, pastas, appetizers, 2 beautiful, beautiful bars. Taste Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance. Make sure you get a reservation. We will see you tomorrow. Mike Detillier at 8:30.